screen here.
Now the
It
town
is-
amends the accessory apartment, and that's what we're doing.
Can you say that one more time?
It says, shall the town of Camden amend the definition of accessory apartment in Article 3 definitions and add accessory apartments as permitted uses in RU1, RU2, and CR?
Okay, and the only definition change is the fact that it's the flip-flop, whether you can live in the accessory apartment now.
That's my understanding.
It's not
Yes, that-
changing. It didn't change. Okay, that makes sense. That I was, okay,
Okay. All right.
that's fine. Great.
Good questions, Allison.
Just to be clear, we did change it where it says it has to be less than 600 square feet. We decided to go with, you can have a 600 square foot apartment and
Right.
still be an accessory.
That's the same size as my shed. Okay, let's go on to Article 5, which is the amendment.
You
for
can have an
the-
accessory apartment in your shed, Bob.
Thank you, Allison. I can't wait to rent it to myself.
You can live there full time.
Some night.
That's why we changed it to 600 feet, right? To accommodate Bob's shed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can move, you can move into the shed now.
when these select board meetings go too late, I end up sleeping in the shed by direction. But Article 5, let's move on to Article 5, which is the changing the zoning map in terms of the transitional river business district and abutting downtown B1. Are there any questions or clarifications on this warrant language?
Nope.
Okay,
Oh, I think
Article-
this is great.
okay, Article 6, which is the scrolling, and I can't read that fast. This is again to this is regarding I believe this is the Historic Resources Committee changing the ordinance to
Demolition
reflect
review.
the demolition delay. Am I correct?
Demolition review.
Yeah.
Or however
Review.
Right.
Yeah.
Any comments on the
The first
language? Is there any comment? I think the language is pretty well written.
Yeah, I
agree.
think it's very straightforward for what this particular ordinance is trying to accomplish.
I did my best to try to clarify it in the note.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's pretty. If it gets any longer, it's going to be too much. I think
Yeah, it's already too much, but
I agree with
I
that.
don't- I can't tell if you can see my hand or not.
I
Is
can,
this
yes.
screen? Oh, you can. Okay, that's great.
Did you want to say something else?
Oh, I was gonna wait to be called on then, knowing now that you can see me.
No, I see you.
Okay, and you're calling on me also, or?
Yes. I'm calling on Allison.
So when I was reading through this, I started to worry that people are gonna think, I think there's a very real possibility that people will think that we are taking some protection away. And not because a careful read by a lawyer would lead you to that conclusion, but it talks a lot about what the ordinance doesn't do, or some about what it doesn't do. And so I guess the only thing that I would want is to add something, to either rewrite it or to add something that makes it clear that there are no current protections for these properties, and that what we're doing is adding a process. We are not removing anything, because a lot of people believe that there is protection for these historic properties, and I don't have the perfect, I mean, I scribbled something down, just said starting off with the town of Camden does not currently have any regulations to protect historic properties from demolition, or maybe Jeremy can think of something. That's my concern, is that people are going to vote it down because they think that it should be stronger, or that they just don't realize that it's adding something and not taking something away.
Well,
And may I, Bob?
Jeremy, what if we just start off with this amendment would provide and it says a review process, but some words that says this is a non-existing process. Would provide for a
Create process.
would establish for the first time a process and delay.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly, for a review process that does not currently exist.
Right. Just put the words into that effect, Allison, the very first sentence.
I do think it
Yeah.
should be near the front.
It is.
Yeah, at the top of the third paragraph.
Oh.
Would establish After Article 5, after it says a proposed amendment to Article 5 would establish a review process.
Mm-hmm.
Is that-
I think that's really good.
All right,
Yeah, but I think even just saying provide for a review process, it almost makes it seem like, I don't know, that it's a review process that is going to ultimately allow for demolition of properties
Well,
that might otherwise not be able to be demolished.
are we okay with the sentence that was just added?
No. No. That's what
No?
I'm saying.
Oh,
That,
I think establish accomplishes the message that this is not an extant process currently. And I see in the explanation what I need to know. I can recognize where Allison's coming from. I felt this way about the chain restaurant ordinance also, that maybe people thought there was something in place and there wasn't. But I feel okay personally about this one. I agree with changing provide for to establish.
How about if we make it would establish and provide for a review process?
That's stronger.
in
So
the
we're
first
just
sentence,
adding
in the first sentence,
establish.
yeah,
yeah, I just think people are going to think it's, now there's going to be a review process that allows you to demolish a building, whereas it's not clear that otherwise you're just allowed to do it whenever you want. Proposed amendment would establish and provide for a review process and a delay period to obtain a permit to demolish structures located within Camden's 3 historic overlay districts.
mhm.
To me, it's
What if
not
you just-
clear that that is currently allowed with no process. It's,
What if you just
Do you-
start with that at the top? Currently, there is no process, and then this proposed amendment to Article 5 would establish, provide for a review process.
that's what I want, is to make
Alright.
it clear that historic properties in Camden
That's,
do not get any special process or
okay,
protection.
okay.
Hey, Bob, Bill here.
Go ahead, Bill. I can't
Just
see
a
you.
cautionary thought. Remember that the ballot is supposed to be sort of as skinny as possible in terms of extra language beyond the warrant articles themselves. But there's no limit whatsoever to how much explanation and detail and information you could have on the website for people to really get deeply into these issues with any questions they might have. It's just the ballot is not the best forum for a lot of explanation. It's not envisioned to be an explanatory document. It's envisioned to be just,
Right.
here's the question, yes or no. And the statute suggests that these comments should be shorter rather than longer.
Well, I agree with that. And Tyler, if I had my choice, I would get rid of a lot that's already there. And it's mostly the fact that there's so much already there that's causing me to want to say more, but I believe it could also be accomplished by eliminating a significant amount, because no other place, I mean, there's no other place that we provide this much. We're really getting into the weeds.
Yeah, it's kind of long for a ballot, but adding that sentence that was just added, Bill, that we just mentioned, if you can see it, currently there's no process for reviewing the proposed demolition of historic structures. Is that what you're referring to?
What if we delete the whole third paragraph?
The
The whole third paragraph. What's the third
whole
paragraph?
second paragraph?
Second paragraph.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
Just the whole, yeah,
Right.
the paragraph, I guess.
That's,
The whole thing.
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Gone.
That's exactly my point, that keep the details on,
Yeah.
if you can, on the website, a lot more detail, but this isn't the place for it.
I agree. Good discussion. On to Article 7, which is the amendment to the cemetery ordinance for Mountain View and Oak Hill cemeteries. Update language and takes in. Any comments? Again, the website reference, Audra.
Mm-hmm.
Updates outdated. Copy of the proposed amendment.
Mhm. Yep.
Who wrote that, like this stuff? Who did the,
Drafting.
yeah. Looks like a lot of work.
Marlene.
Did that one?
Mhm.
Marlene did that one? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I mean, not that anybody else would be bad, but
Working that
Like-
type.
I mean, I think Marlene of all people on this, that, you know, I think she's got it.
Okay,
But there was the typo, which was good,
Okay.
or the little
cool.
thing that Audra got. But yeah, this is very benign and
Good. Article 8, which I believe now we're entering some of the warrants that are typically on the annual report. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the annual.
Yeah.
annual
8,
town meeting, but yeah.
yeah, that one is, as I reviewed in front of me, the last town reports worded exactly the same.
This one,
Oh,
Article
this
8,
was-
there has been change made to this one over what was in the last town report.
Oh,
And this gives you the ability to, this gives you the clear ability to suspend the accrual of interest or the collection of interest for a period of time. So before in the last town meeting, the warrant article didn't specify a date from which interest would start accruing, and that sort of gave you a little bit of a loophole to be able to suspend the accrual of interest when you did so.
oh, yeah,
But this
But
gives you,
now you're giving us a finite period though, whereas before we had technically 364 days with our loophole.
But it's the
Now-
same-
Now we've only got 6
it's
months.
just a matter of the voters giving you the authority at annual town meeting every year. So it's no
Oh, I know,
different.
but, well, it is only different because you've added not to exceed 6 months. Whereas before, since we didn't set a date that we had to start accruing interest, I think we could. I'm just being difficult, really. We technically, I think you're correct that we are allowed to do what we did, and we would be allowed to delay that up to 364 days probably, as long as we charge them on the last day, the full 7% annual. But this would very much limit it to a 6-month delay in the beginning of accrual of interest, which is fine.
yeah, seems fine to me.
But I thought that was smart. That was a nice catch how you put that. I mean,
Yeah, it's very well done.
I do think we were allowed to do what we did though, so that's why.
You certainly were.
Okay. Then Article 9, we have is the, which is the,
Well, Bob, I have a question. The question mark on the end of that,
yeah,
is that going away?
Article 8,
There.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, good catch.
typo. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to authorize tax collector accept prepayment project with no interest to be paid on same. Any comments?
What the heck? What is this? What do we?
Why is the question mark going away on Article 8?
Because none of them others.
Shall the town, oh, I see. I see.
Oh, right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's question mark. Mark,
Sorry.
Good job, Bill.
don't get mad, get even. Article, we're still on, looking at Article,
I think Article 9 is fairly self-explanatory where it talks about interest.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, but what the heck? That's a new one. I haven't seen, that's not been in there before. What are people coming in prepaying and demanding we give them interest?
No, but it's an extra layer of protection for the town that those that do prepay prior to the commitment of the next year's taxes, that we're not required to pay 7% or whatever the interest rate is that the town sets for delinquent taxes, that we don't need to pay the taxpayer for whatever it is that they've prepaid.
Of course, but I mean, of course not. Like,
Well,
I
then
don't,
that's why we've added this in here just as that.
Yeah, this is a new one.
yeah.
I know it's a new one. That's why I'm very curious as to what caused, has anybody tried to ask for such a thing?
Well, no, but Marlene was going through the tax collector lien manual that Maine Municipal
Oh.
supplies us. And actually this, I'm bringing this kind of from the town I worked for before, that they have this in their warrant article, as a warrant article as well. And it just protects the town so that we're not obligated to pay anything, so that people can, because we do have people that pay ahead every year.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Fascinating.
Article 10, the town, this, I know this one was in last year's, and every year's town annual report.
Who's
Yes,
the treasurer? Is that Jody?
no, that's Marlene.
Marlene.
Author of vote.
How come-
There's the select board and treasurer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but that's one of those, maybe like a charter issue or something. Treasurer?
I don't know if it's a charter issue or not, but this has been this way for,
The treasurer always has to officially accept monies that come into municipalities,
Why is it Marlene and not Jody?
because that's always been, so Marlene's job before we officially, like, her job is treasurer. Her job title was in fact treasurer. And we changed it because, you know, of the job description, but the function of treasurer stayed with Marlene, and that's part of her job description.
There's a statute that requires there to be a town meeting to accept gifts like this. So the Camden and other towns do this sort of blanket
Mhm.
beginning every year to cover those
Oh,
things.
yeah, no, I'm aware of that. I was just more like, just drilling down into this treasurer term because
Mhm.
some boards have treasurers, and I just, it's fine. Jody's normally the one that is, you know, when we apply for grants and,
Well, no,
Kind of
but
assumed it would be Jody.
Marlene does all the accounts receivable and the accounts payable, so it makes sense for her to be the treasurer.
And actually, when it comes down to signing all the applications, Marlene does sign them as the treasurer for the bonds, for the loans.
This is
Along with Audra.
not an abnormal setup. It's the same thing in like the city of Rockland and the city of Belfast. You
Mhm.
wouldn't have your finance director be the treasurer. You would have somebody that's in sort of the AP.
I'm not really, this isn't like an attack on the way you're doing things. It's more like, I've just never seen.
No,
I've
no,
certainly
I'm just
applied-
trying
I've
to
certainly
hear
applied
your
for grants through the town and Marlene's never been involved, so, but it's fine. It's not a big deal at all. I don't really care.
Let's move on to Article 11, which is the disposing of tax acquired property from normally in the annual report also. Any comments?
It's just the same as,
Uh,
right?
Yeah.
Last year's annual report.
Apollo is a little redundant.
Say again.
In the last sentence, it seems like Apollo Tannery is a little redundant. Can the last sentence be after Article 10 in the town warrant from annual town meeting held in June 10, 2008, period? I don't think that last piece needs to be in there since it's already mentioned previously in the paragraph.
Is that a period or a comma?
I think it's a comma now, but I'm just questioning whether or not, if you read the whole paragraph, it's already mentioned earlier, excluding the Apollo Tannery property as described in the book, et cetera, and then it just says it again. It just seems redundant to me.
Yeah, but it's not saying in that, I know this is a really important article. It comes out at a public meeting every year.
Yeah.
That's the only part where it says, where it reinforces the fact that the tannery cannot be sold without a vote of the town meeting. The other thing sort of excludes it, but it doesn't specifically sell out. I think a lot of the people really want to see that wording. It could be worded a little better, but they want to see specifically that we cannot sell the tannery without a town vote.
Okay.
Yeah, I've said.
Seems
we've been
straightforward
all
to me
kind of
without
town
it,
meetings where-
Exactly, yeah.
All right, Article.
I think we inherited this because of an amendment at a meeting.
Yeah.
And then it became the language we used every year.
Yeah,
Thank you, Steve Gold, or somebody like, I think it was Steve Gold.
yeah, I'm not sure. Article 12. Again, worded it as was the $3,000 market value
what is our purchasing policy? I just thought, I know this is the same. I looked at it before and it was the same as we voted on it before, but I don't remember the purchasing policy having rules about disposing of property, but it probably does. It's just a little odd because purchasing,
Yeah. Article 13. Again, it's.
so there's no response. I mean, I did sort of ask a question.
Oh,
I feel kind of put on the spot. Can I answer that one sometime? With the purchasing
Sure.
policy in front of
Sure.
me.
sure.
I mean, I think it's fine. It's what we've been doing I did go back in the old town meetings and look at it. It's the same as we've been doing it. So there's nothing like dangerous about it. It's more just a
Question.
semantics thing that I could have brought up earlier, but
Okay. Audra?
Like I said, I'd like to have the policy in front of me to answer that question. If you'd like me to bring up the policy, look through it and answer it, I can do that.
Okay.
I don't think it's matter. It's the same as it's been and
Article 13, transferring funds, blah, 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 the same language as we've carried on to infinitum, I guess. Any comments? Okay. Now 14 now it's no longer a standard. We're into the town voting to appropriate $120,000 of TIF revenues for the downtown for the offset the cost of the Knowlton Street parking lot lease purchase and the redevelopment of the Harbor Walkway.
can we put TIF in parentheses after the tax increment financing so that people know when they get down later? And then and maybe in parentheses, Google it. Just kidding. But I can't decide if some other kind of thing is necessary there. Did the budget committee actually, that was in the budget, right?
Yeah, it's in the revenue side.
So we should be able to put on there, budget committee recommends a yes and select board recommends a yes. That might be helpful to people.
Yep, I agree.
Because that's that TIF stuff is kind of confusing. People might just like to,
Yeah, most people don't even know what it is.
they just want to see that,
Yep.
you know, it wasn't controversial with people theoretically paying attention.
Good. And I think the same thing's going to apply with the next one. We get there. Take your time, Audra. Cool. Article,
Small matter, sorry to bump in. I don't think you can see us all, Bob, so that's why I'm bumping in.
no, I can't see you, Bill.
Yep. Audrey, just on these, I forget if it was on the last one, but all these that are italicized, we should probably put the word note in front of.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, Article 15, which the town should vote to appropriate 3.6 million from non-property tax revenue to be used.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're hurting me, girl. Reduce the property tax expenditure, which is 64,000 less than the select board's recommendation. Non-property tax.
I thought it was 23,000
No,
finished up.
No, after the changes that you made, particularly in the vehicle excise tax.
right,
And that extra 50,000.
right.
I don't know if I love the way it's
Yeah,
written, that maybe it would just be better like
Well,
select board, the budget committee recommends
yeah.
blah, 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 rather than I don't know, however we do it should be standardized across I don't know if we always need to
We don't need to do the math.
right, and it kind of suggests that it's a perfect apples to apples comparison and
Right.
I don't know.
We could just put in budget committee recommended, select board, it's already says select board recommended, but, yeah, I don't know, but I'm thinking.
I'm comfortable with just leaving it after the amount that they recommended.
That's
You
fine.
could put select board, budget committee recommends, blah, 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 and whatever the vote was, which I think was, and you could put the select board recommends number and then put 5-0. I don't know.
You could do
That's
that.
true.
You could do that. We're doing that in other places.
Right.
I don't remember what the budget committee's vote was. It was probably unanimous. You could say it recommended unanimously, and the select board voted the 3,632,206 and voted. I assume, as I recall, that was 5-0.
It was, as
Wow.
far as I can recall as well. Yeah.
3,206.
I think for grins, we should check with Robin and make sure the budget committee voted unanimously.
Yeah, I don't remember almost anything that they didn't vote on unanimously, not in this area.
The
No,
only
I
thing
don't.
that voted
really
unanimously
either.
that I can remember it at the last meeting was that law.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
But
Article now let's get down to Article 16, which is the budget.
I have a wording question here. If Alice, if you move back all of the other votes, except I think for number 9 above, say, shall the town vote to appropriate stuff like this one, and number 9 say, to see if the town will vote to appropriate. That's,
Which
It's-
one, Mark? Which one?
Yeah,
look-
Mark's right.
look at the
That's 'cause
difference.
it's left over from the normal wording, which is to see what sum of money. Which
Okay,
is how we do it when it's open-ended at town meeting, but it should be,
you
I
need to
agree
take
with
out will.
Mark.
And that's in number 9 above as well. And I can't remember which other one.
I can tell you. Article
Take out
9,
the word, if take out the word will.
Article 9, definitely. I'm looking at the other ones.
Yeah, to see if the town is very strange wording.
Yeah, the only one is Article 9. Elsewhere, I just scanned them backwards.
You
That's
need to
only
take
other
out the
one.
word will after the word town, Audra.
Yep.
And same in 16 below. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, back down to, now down to 16, the town vote on the budget. Okay,
So this will just be like a normal, just yes or no, and then
right.
it looks pretty good. You guys did a good job with this.
Yeah,
I think they did a good job of everything. The
I
only,
don't know if I like the difference between, I don't think that we need to compare it to the previous financial fiscal year. They can,
well, I mean,
we don't
people,
normally do that.
say again, Allison.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like we normally do that in the notes. It's like,
Well,
I don't want it to seem like we're trying to sell it, or I don't know.
well, but during the town meetings, we usually discuss a couple of things. One is how much of an increase it is over the past fiscal year, because people are always interested in taxes. And we also have a tendency of talking in the meeting about what the total net budget change is, which is, I'm not suggesting we complicate this, but that's the numbers when we just remember, if you recall, when the numbers of the net budget differences are about $31,000 difference between the budget committee and the select board. That's the net of revenues projected. These numbers, of course, are not.
Here it says 86, but,
Well, that's because it's only looking at the expense side only. We're looking at the expense side only in this vote, which is correct. But when we talk in the town meetings, we often talk about the total net budget, which is, I have the numbers, about 31,000 and change, something like that, 30,000 and change.
okay. So your argument is that because it's information that people generally look for, that it's worth keeping it.
Well, I'm just
I'm fine
asking.
with that.
Yeah, I'm just asking the questions. I don't want to overword this, but I have looked at, well, for example, I think some of you saw the Kennebunk description, which is paragraphs of detail, way too much. Because they do
I
it,
thought it was great, but
It was very thorough, but I'm just questioning whether or not we should, we compare the budget committee with the select board in terms of expenses. I just think you're leaving half the equation off the table.
Hold on, what are you advocating for? To leave it the way it is or change something?
I was advocating or thinking about putting in that the total net budget, including revenues, differences between the committee, the numbers, the 5 million and change, in the select board is 30-something thousand dollars as the other part of the equation, if you think it's helpful to the voters. Because
No, I think it's misleading because we're just taking all we did to do that to make up for it as we decided to spend a little bit more and then take a little bit more from surplus. And then we're like, but it's really the same number as the budget committee. So I guess I like the way it's been done here now that I've talked myself out of it.
Okay, any other comments on this one then?
Yeah,
Taylor?
I agree that given that typically we'd be able to discuss this at the open floor, since I think it's important for people to understand when they're looking at the ballot that there is a reduction over the last year.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
I think
What
so,
about
too.
a note about the, where people can find the full budget? Should
Uh-huh.
maybe just again, a note about the Camden website for like full,
Yeah,
however we want to write it.
Yeah.
You know, for a full breakdown or the full proposed budget can be found. Blah, blah, blah.
okay.
Oh,
That happens so annoying sometimes. I didn't.
oh my goodness. Me.
Just erase it.
Just let me.
Tell me you erased everything and I'm gonna reach across the screen and grab your neck.
You just have to do the control. It's this
Oh, yeah,
happens to me
control V,
sometimes in
I
Google
agree.
Docs and yeah, it's really frustrating because it
Yeah.
clearly knows what you want to do and it just doesn't want to do it. It like will only let you do it with the shortcut format, which makes no sense.
You guys are expert at this.
Well, we've just encountered similar problems.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the last warrant.
The last question on the warrant.
Correct.
More warrants to come.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, right now that's
Thanks for
sometimes a
laughing,
little hard
Jenna.
to say definitively, but yes, there are more warrants to come. We hope, we believe.
The last warrant, the last supper, the last.
It's like the Hardy Boys book that never was.
Hmm,
The last warrant,
yeah.
the mystery of the last warrant.
Pretty boys. There's a
The
duo.
curse,
Much
the
of
curse
lately.
of the last warrant.
Just a
Allison's kids love
In
it, and
in the clarifications, Audra, there are certain articles that are specifically excluded from the secret ballot. There are, I think, believe 4.
Yes, so typically, we would have, article, it was, I mean, it would be a different number, but last year was Article 19 in
Right.
2019. And that was the question about LD1. And we don't need to include this because Camden will not even come close to exceeding our LD1 limit, which is 6,730,481. So we're not even going to put that on there because we don't need to worry about it. Article 20 from 2019, that's the Pascal Fund Board of Trustees. I'm proposing we don't do this. It's done usually during open floor town meeting, and it's not something that's urgent. So I think it's better that we wait until we can hold a special town meeting, and at that time we can open floor special town meeting, and that time we can appoint somebody to that board of trustees.
Mhm.
Article 21 from 2019, that was the budget committee members. That's also something that we can do at a special town meeting during open floor at some point in the future, or we can kind of do what we end up always doing when we have budget committee members that drop off between June and November, which is the select board appoints them. And then the budget nominating committee, I have a feeling that's going to be a thing of the past sometime pretty soon. But in order to comply with our charter, that's another one that we can do
Town
sometime
meeting.
in the future. Yeah.
So
That'll
those,
be great, because then we can really be prepared, not like concentrating on the town budget and all these other things. We can just have a meeting and we'll really be able to give some,
Focused on that budget nominating committee.
right, we can campaign, we can really put, it's gonna be great.
is
I agree with your recommendations, Audra.
perfect. And then I
What do
didn't,
you need for a motion?
who was talking?
Taylor, who do you need for a motion?
Cal, you're breaking up a little bit.
What do we need for a motion?
Oh,
Says Taylor, I believe.
well, this document,
Yeah,
now,
thank you.
the document that we're looking at here will become the official record. This is the document we are approving for the warrants to go on the ballot for July 14th.
Okay, do you need a motion on the whole document?
Yeah, that's probably the easiest. Yeah, on this document, and Audra, is some way to cast this document in concrete right now?
Yes, I think if you do a motion to approve as amended.
Yeah. And make sure we don't, lose it. That's all. We've gone through all the warrants. We've online, we've redrafted them all. This is the document we need to approve going forward.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the amendments we've made and move the articles forward for the July 14th election.
Second,
Any further discussion? Okay, Mark, roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Taylor,
aye.
Jenna,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
and Bob, I also 5-0. So good job, gang. Good job. This is going to be an interesting election.
Good job. That was a lot of work. Good job.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Anna
It
probably did a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm
was a
imagining.
lot of work.
I think we had some good preparation too, which is helpful.
And this is a small detail, Audra, question. This, usually these warrants are signed by the 5 of us plus you, or plus Katrina. Do we still need to figure out a way to get everybody to sign this document?
Great question,
Thank
Bill.
Hello?
Yes, you should. You can come in at separate times in the town office. You don't have to all come in at once.
Well, we can do
I'm
that.
here every
Okay.
day, all the time.
It's
so.
easy enough to sign. I mean, if you can get a building permit right now, then we can certainly go in and sign a document, for goodness
Again,
sake.
if technically, we 5 can gather in the conference room if we want to and be physical separation, that's still within the statutes and get it all signed at once, or just leave it someplace there for everybody to come in on a specific day or whenever they can to sign it. We'll
There's
work it.
no reason we all need to do it in the same, at the same
No, you don't
moment.
have to do it at the same time. No. Okay, that's all.
You want to leave it where we leave the warrants by Jen?
Well, we'll just email out where it is, where it's
Okay.
located, if everybody come in and
Don't
sign.
disclose that here, but
Yeah.
It's under the loose floorboard in the second room. Sorry.
And you need a special code to get to it.
Does anyone else have a house like that, or is that just me? I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm right there with you, Jenna.
the basement, I want in the basement.
Okay, down with the
Do we need a
bicycle.
motion to adjourn?
Yes, we do.
Are we there? I would make a
We're done.
motion that we adjourn the May 5th, 2020 Select Board meeting.
Second,
Any discussion? Mark,
Aye.
Taylor,
aye.
Jenna,
I don't know. No, I.
Allison,
I,
and Bob, I also 5-0, of course, and thank you all. This has been a frenetic amount.
Thank you.
In the last few weeks, you've all done a great job, especially your staff, Audra, and company, getting all this together like this. I know
Yeah.
it hasn't been easy.
Yes, thank you,
And
Janet.
For the Zoom experts, the people who are keeping us in Zoom and connected, I appreciate that a lot. Allison,
Yeah.
Audra, Janice, everyone.
Oh, and Juniper, she came up with a very elegant solution for the cable broadcasting tonight.
Oh,
Wow.
She did, yeah, it was great. It was kind of one of those things where we're like, oh, why were we overcomplicating this? So that's why I'm able to be in the comfort of my office instead of the
I noticed that.
conference room all by myself.
Are you just using, hopefully there's the town computer that was in there?
Yes.
Wow.
The town computer is a viewer. It's one of the viewers of the YouTube channel. And as a viewer of the YouTube channel, it's connected to the cable station.
That just took some wind out of my sails. Been watching how many people are viewing just with it on silent.
Yeah, so subtract 1 because that's the conference room computer.
And subtract 2 because 1 is me. Anyhow,
All right, gang.
well, guys,
Great
thank
job.
you.
Great
Happy-
job. Appreciate everybody's hard time. You too, Bill.
Yes, thanks for always being here, Bill.
Bill, we appreciate all the very
Yeah.
specific direction you've related from Augusta for us. Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
all right, everybody, thanks. Without further ado, I'm gonna sign off.
All right, happy
ciao.
Cinco de
Good
Mayo.
night.
Good night.
Yeah, you guys too.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Good night.
Cinco
Night,
de whatever.
everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night, Mark.